Hello, friends, and welcome to the 105th episode of All New Snap Judgments. As sometimes, always, I'm Roy Rogers, and joining me today is my friend and yours, the one, the only, Aaron Pulse Glazer, also known as the biggest new streamer in all of Marvel Snap. A person who, by the way, let's just be clear, loyal listeners and loyal viewers, once told me I will never stream. Okay.
I also
Then he
told you I'd
told
never buy variants. I don't know
hold
why
on,
you
I
believe
know.
these things anymore.
Hold on. But it's not just that, Glazer. It's I will never stream. I'm only gonna stream me talking or deck building. I will never stream gameplay. And then one day I'm just chilling at my father-in-law's house, and there he is streaming gameplay. Definitely a liar and a cheat. But my friend and yours, the one and only Aaron Pulse Glazer. Aaron, how are you doing?
So my master plan is I convince Second Dinner to make card acquisition really, really bad and difficult. So after about like 6 more months, myself and our guest today are going to be the only two Marvel Snap streamers left, and we can split the pie of those like 3,000 viewers in the category at all times. So like, just so you know, that's exactly what's happening right now. That's why I'm streaming gameplay, because pretty soon it's going to be just us.
So exciting. Well, Aaron, who is this very special guest to join us here at the halftime of this Sixers Magic game that the Sixers are definitely going to lose?
Well, with Docty no more, I picked another one of my very favorite people in the Marvel Snap community, someone you hear me talk about all the time, that if you haven't checked out, you absolutely must. And not just because he's a giant and he will pick me up by my little pea head and throw me if I don't say that. It is the Pirate King himself, the great Tuccrr, who will be joining us monthly for our new card reviews.
Hi, Tuck. Very, very exciting.
Hello, it is great to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me. It'd be great, every single month to be able to hang out with your guys is just an absolute blessing. So I'm just very grateful for this opportunity.
Thanks. And how could our friends find you? And please spell it.
All right. All of you loyal, beautiful listeners, by the way, you guys can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, X, / TikTok under the name Tuccrr, Tucc. That is 2 C's, and then RR, 2 R's, double C, double R, Tuccrr.
Hey, all of our viewers are not beautiful, just for the record. I know the White Wayne Brady listens, and so like that's just straight up not factual. Thought you should.
Wow. But you know what is factual,
I had to figure out someone
Glazer?
who didn't. Sorry, I had to figure out someone who didn't stream, so I had no idea what they looked like. So that insult worked.
Brady and strays here.
Aaron. Insulting our listeners. But you know what is definitely factual? That our Twitter /X account is @SnapJudgeCast. We are immensely grateful each and every week to be the official podcasting partner of Marvel Snap Zone. Please check out their website, which is full of many of our awesome guests and friends, from Lauren and Den to many others. Our email is snapjudgmentspodcast@gmail.com, which we will definitely check and definitely respond to you in a timely and professional manner. But most importantly, our most important social is, of course, as always, our YouTube channel, where you are probably listening to this episode right now and about to leave a comment about how there should be video for our faces. But more often, 6 out of 7 days a week, you are watching Glazer's Daily Snap Takes. Aaron, if our loyal listeners of the podcast were to become loyal viewers of our YouTube channel, what would they find right now?
Galacta broken. A lot of Galacta.
Oh, we'll talk about her in a moment. One more thing, patreon.com/snapjudgments. Best way to support the content. And of course, as I say every time I'm on the show, the Patreon is a reverse pyramid scheme. Aaron spends a lot of money on the community, and the best way for him to keep doing that is for you to contribute to the Patreon, because that's how he justifies the large transactions on his monthly credit card bill to his lovely wife and small child. So You
hang on.
definitely want to be supporting us at patreon.com/status.
I downloaded Rocket Money, and that was such a mistake. I now know how much money I spend on this game, and like just supporting the community. And holy shit, like Roy's not kidding. I should.
Of course,
stop.
I never make a joke. So
All right. So,
right.
but make sure you follow Tuccrr, please, as well. Tuccrr
Yes,
is the priority here. Because if you're
definitely
here,
follow Tuccrr 100%.
Nick likes to yell at me when that every episode could be somebody's first, and he's like, "Do Roy's thing even when he's not here." I'm like, "No, I can't." But every episode could be somebody's first, so follow us. But also, if this is your first, but if you're already following us, make sure you're following Tuccrr.
Definitely follow Tuccrr, and we should follow along with our season pass card for this week. Okay, before we even really talk about this card, which I'll read in a second, we got Galactica. She's the daughter of Galactus. Series 5, 6k tokens. She's a 4/6. It says each turn, first card you play at another location reveals with +3 power. We're talking about this card. It's very powerful. But what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. I think we're past the 5-minute point. Like, Galactica, daughter of Galactus. Like, are we really?
Galacta, you're adding an extra Galacta in there.
Whatever her name is. Whatever her name is, the character sucks. I'm sorry. Isn't she in Rivals too? Like, come on, people. Like, Marvel has been making characters since literally the Second World War, and this is where we are right now. Like, really, sad times. This is up there with symbiotes. Like, I'm sorry. This is bad.
It's for the collab.
It's literally just for the collab. This isn't the character I hate. I hate Luna Snow. Luna Snow makes me angry. We'll get there.
Why does Luna Snow make you angry? She's just like
Sure,
Arrow,
we'll
like
get
one
there.
of these. Like,
we'll get there. No, she's
what's
not.
the point of this character?
She's
like,
not.
I'm sorry.
What is the point of Galacta? What if Galactus had cleavage? That's the point of this character.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, what is like? Look, Rivals seems like a cool Overwatch variant. I mean that really seriously. Like, I'm really enjoying the content that some of the other Marvel Snap creators, former Marvel Snap creators, are making. Like, Wolverine looks really cool.
He said Drewberry.
The Mr. Fantastic that's coming in like a month looks cool, but this is just really stupid. I'm sorry. Like, anyway, the card's cool. Tuccrr, what do you think about the card?
So honestly, I would say at first I wasn't really high on this card, but actually like putting this card in the game and playing with this card feels really good. And I mean, more often than not, you see that +3, and at first you're like, it's +3, it's whatever. But then that +3 is, it's +3, it's actually amazing kind of thing. And I feel like what I really like about this card is it is more flexible than you probably may have thought. Like some of these, like there's real shelves that people are making, whether it's Surfer or like a hand buff kind of. I'm seeing Scarlet Spider get play, which is freaking awesome. Love to see that. But like the value you can get to kind of where are they going to be playing this card? It's still a 50-50, like that whole dynamic I think is really interesting with this card. But yeah, I like this card now. I don't think it's mid like I may have said last week. I think it is genuinely a good card.
It's gonna get its own stats nerfed, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how this is gonna survive as a 4/6 because it's just too free.
4/6
right?
is very strong.
Like, Gwenpool is a 4/12 too, but then you have to pay for all, like, you have to play those specific cards. It's hitting them randomly. It doesn't hit the right things. Like, with just Brood, right?
Yes.
This is, what the fuck? Like, this is a 4/15 with just Brood? Like, and if I can play Brood and Absorbing, man, I just played a 4, I don't know, what's another 6, like 4/21? That's pretty good. There's a million ways to take advantage of it. All of a sudden, Captain Marvel is back.
Yep.
I haven't featured this yet, and I don't even know if I'm going to. But like, I was sent this by a top 10 player, Abra, like 5 minutes before recording. Ready? You're gonna you're gonna cry. Aranya, Agony, Zabu, Surtur, Gladiator, Scarlet Spider, Galacta, Atuma, Crossbones, Cull, Vision, Scar.
Oh, good gravy.
Like, what the fuck is that? This card is stupid. It is stupid good. Like, I'm having trouble building any decks that don't include Galacta.
Yeah.
It's better than I thought. I had it as my number 3 card of the season, and if the 2 cards I think are better than this, then well, I hope Glenn has his nerf bat ready. But like, like Galacta should probably be a 4/4, not a 4/6. I think they'll start with a 4/5, but she should probably be a 4/4, not a 4/6. They're not going to make her on reveal +2. She's like dead if they do that, right? So
Yeah.
I think they have to mess with her stats. I think they're going to try and wait to do that, but I don't see how. Like, I don't see how that's not going to happen. Also, the 4 spot in Marvel Snap is just through the roof powerful all of a sudden. From Wiccan on, they just released like 5 good 4s, and then they buffed
Zabu.
Man-Thing into a good
And
4.
He's good now too. Like Zabu enabling you to do the 4 stuff. That's what the issue was before.
Yeah.
Like, but all of a sudden we're just in this new meta where like Malekith is amazing, Anti-Venom is amazing, Wiccan is amazing. There's a card I'm forgetting. Man-Thing, Galacta, Gwenpool came out a month before that, right? Like, just all these 4 drops are just now Captain Marvel is suddenly enabled by all these cards. There's just a bajillion.
She's a 4
amazing
drop, right? Or is she back up to 5?
Captain Marvel's a 4.
Yeah, 4/5.
4/5. But like, you know what she's really good as? A 4/8.
Yep.
Let me just tell you, that's been really powerful. Like,
It's old Elsa, like, but like with less conditions than like old Elsa.
you don't
Way
have to
less
build
conditions.
your deck. You just you play the first card you play not at her location, and then if you don't want to hit the first card you play it at her location.
What would you not want +3 power? I get power. Like,
Well,
I
so
don't know,
you
put your
forge like on
range.
5 with if you forge into the brood and then your brood gets +5 instead of
there we
+3.
go. There we go.
There's 3.
Which is just, and then you sit there and you won, right? Like, you snap before you do
That's
that.
fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Like, it's a snap condition. The card is incredible. So many matches right now are decided by who saw Galacta. It's insane. It's really, really annoying to Shadow King because she puts out so many buffs that it's like, okay, well, you got that one-shot lane, right? Like, good luck on everything. Like, literally, the next card we're going to talk about, I have no idea how good it is, even though it's already out, because everyone plays so much Galacta, and it doesn't synergize with Galacta, so I don't have any, like, data or information for it. Galacta's nuts.
Yeah.
And has cleavage. Cosmic beings have to have boobs. It's just science.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Glazer's actual favorite character.
Least favorite character.
No, your actual favorite character, because we got Luna Snow here. She's a 3/5, Series 5, 6K tokens on reveal. Add an ice cube to each side of this location. The ice cubes are 1 cost, 0 strength. All right. At the start of each turn, get +1 energy. Then destroy this if your side here is full. Tuck, what you got for us?
So, like, with my first Surfer build, when I started stream yesterday, I had Luna in it with Galacta. And then I was like, because I was trying to ramp out Sarah earlier, but then I was like, I just want to play Hope Summers instead and not give my opponent the benefit of getting the extra energy. So, like, I don't have, like Glazer said, enough time with this card to have a really thorough opinion on it. But I know the instances when my opponent played a Luna Snow against me, I actually won those games. So just looking at that kind of perspectively, even though I'm in a Surfer matchup, which I think right now it's a tough place for Luna when it comes to a lot of these new cards when they come out. You see a lot of mirrors, you see a lot of counters, and it's kind of just waiting to see if those die down, if this card will get value. And I think there is potential for it, whereas the ramp condition is you have to have an open spot on your side of the board. And what's cool about the Ice Cube is it doesn't destroy until the next turn. So you can still get that extra energy going into the next turn and potentially have that spot open. But I'm still not sold on this card. I still think it's okay. I just haven't seen anything crazy with it, like Glazer also has seen.
Yeah, all right. So first, this character can go get fucked. I played Marvel Future Fight, and I hated Marvel Future Fight.
You really
did rivals, though.
I
really did not like the Agents of Atlas, huh? Like,
I know I love Agents of Atlas. She wasn't in the original Agents of Atlas. She was created specifically for Marvel Future Fight.
And then she's in the post-War of the Realms Agents of Atlas, the reboot.
They moved her there from Marvel Future Fight. So, like, fuck Marvel Future Fight. I played that game for like 2 years, and I didn't enjoy it, and I don't know why, except pure addiction. So I hate Luna Snow for that. Also, her stupid multicolored hair can go away. But that's neither
Cruella
here
de
nor there.
Vil?
This card is
Laser
going
doesn't
to be.
like cool people. That's what we're learning here.
I don't like cool people. I hate
cool.
cool people.
Like she's got cool pick me girl hair. Like come on. Like why are you hating on my girl Luna here?
Different colored eyes too.
Different. Yeah, she's so annoying. So every bit of her character design is so fucking annoying. She's like, oh my, like at least she doesn't also have firepower with her double colored eyes in here.
I mean, she is a K-pop star though.
She of course she's a fucking K-pop star.
She's got a great voice.
She was really obnoxious in that game too. Like they released her and she was immediately the best character in the game. And it was just like, you know, it's really great to play this Marvel game where the best character is the K-pop star that the creator of Marvel games just randomly shat out one morning.
Yeah, NetEase was just vibing.
Yeah, fuck that card. She's gonna be good, and I'm pretty sure the reason she's gonna be good isn't necessarily just the +1 energy. It's the at the start of each turn, so you can fill the location, and then like if you fill it on turn 6, that stays there. If you like the timing of it is really obnoxious, and I wish it was more like the way Widow's Kiss worked right now, and I think it would be a much less annoying card. But I do think that eventually this is going to be a functionally effective clog piece, and I'm not excited for that day. She's quite good, I think, but like no one's playing her, so it's really hard to tell. Like it's just she's the least restrictive ramp option we've ever had in Marvel's time. Every other ramp option needs you to build your deck and do a million different things. She doesn't need that, and she's junk/clog, whatever word you prefer. So I think she's gonna be good, but I can't tell you that outside of theory crafting because like what we got right now is a bunch of theory crafting.
Yeah, for me, just like one. I really love these like weird ramp cards. This is probably, I think, to me, the most interesting card of the month. It's just sort of like there's lots of like wild things you can kind of do with it in theory, and it like asks. It has a really cool sort of like journey that you can go on with the card, both because it is ramp and soft clog. It just makes it like really cool design space, and 3/5 is solid stats too. So it's not like it's not like Electro, right, where you're really giving up something here on a stat wide. So if you really can, that jump to 5 on 4 and play Sarah early or something else is what your deck wants to do. It's like really asking you like what 5 drops can you break, I think, and that's a really interesting question to me. Second, I'm a big sucker for these like random Marvel characters that like we're talking about like Galactica to me is just like too much. Because it's not this just like weird corporate synergy thing that gets kind of like dumped into the Marvel universe. I'm a sucker for those. Like as a person who loved growing up reading 70s and 80s Avengers, which were just full of these weirdos. Like I am a sucker for these like random things. Galactica, not cool.
Galacta,
whatever. She's not getting pronounced properly. Galactica, whatever. Lady Galactus. All right, bad. No aura. Luna Snow, all aura. Let's go ahead to the next card.
She's got 2 different colored arm sleeves. She's the worst designed, whatever. All right, so Luna Snow comes with Lady Deathstrike and X-23. Any X-23 or Deathstrike thoughts? Or variant thoughts, as you prefer.
I like the X-23 a lot. Yeah. I got 4 kitties in here just running rampant at all times.
Beautiful. Love it.
But no, the X-23 is great. It looks good, both inked and gold, which is awesome. The Lady Deathstrike's pretty cool. The Luna, the Rivals variant's being locked behind a Spotlight cache. I'm not really a huge fan of. I wish they had just been rares or whatever, and we could have gotten something maybe different. But like this week, in theory, feels like it could have been a good week if we didn't know X-23 was dropping in Series Drops to Series 4.
Yeah, everything's like I said. I'm not overly fond of this Laura design. Which I think is one of her X-Force designs, right? Like, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But the Luna Snow, like, all the Rivals variants are cool. Like, her Rivals design here is much better than her design in her base art. It's more
not
streamlined.
A superhero costume. She is wearing a jacket with a crop top with a side thing.
Are you just coming for MCU Scarlet Witch now?
Luna
Like
Snow.
we're just there, Aaron. Aaron.
All right,
you're thinking of the aura.
And I think about the aura that Luna Snow has, unlike Lady Galactus. All right,
Roy's gonna go home and jam out to K-pop on the way home.
I definitely.
The Rivals playlist comes out. You got to listen to it because the K-pop on there is.
There you go.
There we go.
So I like this Deathstrike a lot. She's hurt by the fact that there's like a million good Lady Deathstrike variants.
Yeah.
Like Lady
It's
Deathstrike
definitely one
just
of the
has a
better
ton
ones.
of good variants. It's a
ones.
comic cover. I'm 90% sure. I don't know what comic, but this is a comic cover that I'm pretty sure I've seen a million times.
It's also not too much, some Lady Deathstrike art is like just too much. This one is
big claws.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it's a nice piece of art. I don't like the X-23 either. I just like the weird half mask thing. It's just not for me. Like, I also don't love this character with guns. It doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah,
as far as the variant goes. I don't have anything new to say about
Wolverine needs a gun. But anyway, let's move on.
Well, because sometimes you want to like stab things with bullets.
Okay, cool. Click the button, Aaron. Click the button.
All right. I don't have anything new to add about Lady fucking Deathstrike or X-23. I'm sorry, know those cards.
We got Peni Parker here. Everybody's third favorite of the Into the Spider-Verse characters, probably. Peni Parker with her spider. She's a 2/3. All right. She's Series 5, 6K tokens. On reveal, add spider to your hand. When this merges, you get +1 energy next turn. Glazer kind of covered the text there in the slide here. And then spider is a 3/3. With the on reveal, merge with one of your cards here. You can move that card next turn.
So, like, I like this card a lot. It's my favorite card of the month. I like the different ways you can kind of potentially do this, like functionally. Like when you see the video for the card, this +1 energy can happen multiple times in a game, whether it's with an agony, if you get lucky with a chimichanga, with a Hulkbuster, with a symbiote Spider-Man, which is pretty cool in theory. But like what I like more than just what Peni can do with the extra energy, it's what Spider can do, merging with another card, being able to move that wherever you want next turn. It's a single turn function, but I like this with, of course, Phoenix Force, but it's interesting. Like, do you actually slot it in Phoenix Force because kind of your energy constrictions are a little weird, or is it more of just you actually can use multiple man and kind of maybe some regular move stuff now, or is it just Madam Web stuff again, and you're getting it on your Human Torch to be able to move your Human Torch back into the Madam Web lane? I think it allows just some different versatility in that sense of like you can use it classic move, maybe you can try it in Phoenix Force, but I think a lot of people are really going to be doing some more of the Peni stuff. Even if you're just putting the spider back onto Peni, you're getting the extra energy onto turn 4, so you're going to have 5 energy on turn 4. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens with this card. But my favorite part of the card is just being able to move a card on the next turn after it's merged.
Bounce loves this so very much.
Yeah.
Right? Like Bounce Move in particular. Sorry. Not just Bounce, but Bounce Move loves this so very much. It's like if it doesn't see if it doesn't see Madam Web, it doesn't really have a great play on turn 2. And being able to just be like, oh, I'll just drop a Peni Parker and then I have a spider for when I draw my Human Torch, right? Like, and now I don't have to waste an extra card on Human Torch. Human Torch is going to be able to move itself next turn. And 1 move, it's a 10. 2 moves, it's a 20. 3 moves, the game is over. Right? Like, it's true.
Yeah.
If I can move like I've got a 40 power lane, I've won that lane. And then with all my 8,000 other bounce cards, I can win another lane.
And Frigga. Like, even more Frigga value, too.
Oh my god, yeah. So you would be frigging on turn 5 here, right? So you would go Peni onto turn 3, whatever, like maybe move Torch once.
Yeah.
Right, and then you can drop a spider on it to move Torch again. So now you've got a 14 power Torch. If you moved it into, if you can get another move, then and Frigga on turn 5, right? Now we're getting somewhere, right? Like it's just, I don't know. It feels like this is probably pretty good. Maybe Magic goes back in the deck. Who knows? I don't know. I think this is insane. But like, the other really, really crazy thing to do is I can run Quicksilver. If I see Peni Parker, I now see Spider. I now have Wiccan.
Yep.
That seems nuts. We know how good Kate Bishop is in those lists. Peni Parker is just better than Kate Bishop in those lists. This is my card of the month too. I'm ridiculously excited. So the decks I play most are sort of the 4Z decks right now, including the Wiccan ones, and this goes in that, and a lot of bounce and move, and this goes in that. So I'm pretty happy here. Like, I think this is going to be an incredible card. If this is better than Galacta, we may have a problem. So I hope it's about as good as Galacta. But this is very good.
Works with Galacta too, potentially getting the buff on the spider.
That'll be the first card it plays. So that you'll have a 7-power spider that'll then merge with something else. Yeah, it seems like it's decent. So if you go like Peni Parker, whatever, into Galacta, right? You can then just casually run a Human Torch, and you can spend a turn going Human Torch into Spider, and that'll be 7 plus 5. So then one move is again giving you a 14-power card, and that's probably not your whole turn, right? Like you've got all these other things you can do. I don't know. This all seems good. Hell, just putting it on like a Legion, right? Now you've got a vision that also changed to every location.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything much more to add about Penny. I think she's this is my second favorite card of the month. Super interesting. Excited to have her as a card. Surprised they didn't save her for next year when Into the Spider-Verse comes out. She's sort of just kind of dumped because I guess she's a Rivals character, right?
She's a Rivals, yeah.
Everyone this month, right, is a Rivals except for the symbiote that we get, right? They're all in Rivals.
Yeah, he was from Venom 3.
I don't know if you know this, but symbiote with Spider seems decent too.
So yeah.
Or with Galacta, but we'll get there.
So yeah, really nothing more to add. I think it's worth looking at her spotlight caches. So we got a Rivals. We've got this like very Bigfoot looking Sasquatch, even more than normal Sasquatch, and Gladiator. Tuccrr, thoughts?
So like Gladiator has a really solid spot in the meta right now. It's actually getting good play because even though people are still doing a little bit of Surtur things, it still feels like it's applicable because people are still doing Fenris stuff as well. And like you play just, tech around it. Sasquatch is really interesting. We haven't seen Sasquatch in like a hot minute, but I think we've had Gladiator since Sasquatch came out, I think maybe around the same time, if I remember correctly. But both these cards also are going to be Series 4 cards. Sasquatch is dropping to Series 4 at the time this is coming out. So it's another, it's just like these spotlights this month, they just feel kind of wishy-washy in a way, just because the value, I think, in the spotlights itself. But I like the Gladiator variant a lot. I think the vision, if it's animated the right way, it's going to look freaking awesome. It's, a Marvel Superman, even though it's not the like direct comparison, really, I think, to Marvel Superman. And then the Peni Parker, again, is just another Marvel Rivals spotlight that I think the variant that actually comes out for Peni Parker, I think, actually is way better than the Spotlight variant. So we're actually saving caches by not getting the Spotlight. But I think Sasquatch, I've seen a little bit more of. I mean, people are playing Thanos, but they're not really playing Sasquatch. But I've seen some more of like the dump Mysterio kind of things to get Sasquatch value.
My bad, I shared that.
But I mean, I don't hate these spotlights. I think like they're cards, if you don't have, they're cool to get. But it's still like it feels bad if there's not a Series 5 with the Series 5 in spotlights, in my opinion.
If you're gonna open this month, this is probably the week to open. Like if you're missing like multiple cards on each of these caches, like Penny is useful in at least 3 different decks, right? She's good in move, she's good in ramp, and she's good in Wiccan decks. Sasquatch has a totally different deck that it is good in. I think this might be the boy Sasquatch. I don't know. It gets confusing. But Sasquatch is really, really great. And Gladiator is good, like just a good 3-drop to have. So this is the easy week to open right now. I need this Sasquatch variant. I hate the Sasquatch variant. It's so ugly, but I don't have a variant for Sasquatch, and it's really annoying. But I am going to waste some keys getting the Sasquatch variant. Maybe I'll get an extra Gladiator while I'm on the way. Whatever, I have a hip, so who cares?
And remember, you need to be playing your all Rivals deck when you become a Rivals streamer before we know it, Aaron. So
I'm going to say I'm never going to play Rivals because like this isn't like streaming. I have no reflexes. So shooters are not like
you and I are the same person when it comes to that. Yes, I have no reflexes as well.
JRPGs where it's turn-based and I can just go press button, wait, press button, wait.
Like TFT pushes my ability to respond
I couldn't.
in a timely manner.
John was like, click, click, click. I was like, never playing this again.
All right, but anyway, let's talk about the probably most controversial card, at least based on randoms that have shown up in my Twitter algorithm. Dr. Doom 2099. From a very obscure but well beloved. Sadly, has really to be thrown in the trash bed of history for some bad reasons, but it is a classic comic run, the only good 2099. As somebody who read all of the 2029 comics when they came out, this was the only good one. All right, I still have my holographic Fantastic Four 2029
Oh
collector's
god, that
edition.
book was terrible. I don't hate
It was
Spider-Man
supposed to pay for me to
2099.
college. It was supposed to pay for college. Yeah, Spider-Man 2029 is fine. But anyway, 4-2, Series 5, 6K tokens. After each turn, add a Doombot 2099 to a random location if you played exactly one card. What do the Doombot 2099s do? Ongoing, your other Doombots and Doom have +1 power. Now, it's confirmed that includes the Doombots from OG Doctor Doom
Mhm.
and includes OG Doctor Doom himself, correct?
Yes,
Mhm.
but each original Doombot will not buff itself. So you get that small
Right.
reprieve.
Right. All right. Tucker, thoughts about this very controversial card?
I like that it's something new. I like that it's like if you play one card, this goes to a random location, and it kind of has the ongoing stuff for the other Doom bots beside itself, like Glazer mentioned. I think this would be crazier if Old Sandman was back, and it was able to do all of this and then play out a Doom kind of thing at the end of the game. I think this is a nice tech to maybe do Patriot stuff, but it's like the 4 slot kind of felt maybe a little funky. Maybe you were playing more of an Ironlad and that kind of like deck and stuff. Maybe this is good token stuff for Mockingbird and everything too. Like, I think it's going to be a fun card. I'm glad it's something new. It's not like one of the highest cards for me this month, but I think it's going to be fun, and I'm interested to see if people brew some new stuff or if it's kind of just like a plug-in kind of card.
It's good with Galacta, right? Like that turn 3.
Yeah.
Like if you can get Galacta out on turn 3, this seems like it's a really, really good hit.
Playing
but, like,
cards
I think
is good with Lady Galactus. Got it.
so. Everything is good with Galacta right now. But like, even if you get this out on 4, you play this Sandman Doom, and you just like this is going to generate. That's 3 extra Doombots plus 3
Mhm.
extra Doombots. That's 6 Doombots that are all getting plus. Excuse me, these Doombots will only be getting +2 strength, but both the Dooms and the other Doombots will be getting +3 strength each. That's a lot, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's a lot. Sandman is still really disruptive. I don't know if people realize that. Like, I know I've seen no one play it. One of my highest win rate decks for the past several seasons has been this Desperate Jill deck that runs Sandman. It's just like a Wiccan arishem deck, but it also just has Mobius and Sandman in it. And like, I run into players with it, right? And I'll just drop a Mobius, and they're like, "Oh, that's a little annoying." Then I drop Sandman. It's like immediate retreat. The decks can just do nothing with that combo. So you can go Mobius Doom, Sandman Doom, and just be like, win. I don't know what beats that. I mean, I guess a Mobius of your own would give it at least trouble, but like, I don't know if the decks that run Mobius on their own can put up enough power to compete with this wide. Like, I think this is going to be great. I know that's not a controversial take, but like, either this or Spider is my card of the month. Again, if this is better than Galacta, we have a problem. I don't think a card should ever be better than Galacta. I think Galacta's I don't hate Galacta. I don't think Galacta's broken, but I think Galacta's probably about as good as I'm comfortable with a Marvel Snap card being. And so if Doom 2099 is better, then we might have an issue, because like, the gameplay of Doom 2099, Sandman Doom does not seem interesting to me.
Boring for sure.
Right.
So again, I really just cannot get over that people think that this somehow this and Bruce Banner somehow fundamentally breaks the rules of Marvel Snap compared to many other cards, including Lady Galactus. All right, like, or Galactus, yes, which existed from the word go. I think this card is very unobjectionable because it's like our first what's the Pipal card, right? To use the current terminology, right? Which is a card that like really plays off types. Right, we haven't really seen a lot of those kind of synergies where like a tag really specifically allows you to build around it, and I'm really excited to see what it does. I think the sort of Sandman Doom, Sandman Doom like combo is very powerful, but I think it's also very predictable and very one dimensional, and so I'm like way less concerned about this, and I'm just sort of really excited about where this design space is going to go in Marvel Snap. Like, what could happen when we get other cards that are sort of like this, and it's going to be super, super interesting. I also think that this is an interesting card in like a bigger sized like ongoing deck, right? The fact that every one of your ongoings on 4, 5, 6 all or 5, 6 all get buffed, right? By this, if you go this, then you play an ongoing card on 5, and then you play Spectrum on 6. Like you're getting huge amount of value there. So I think that this card is super interesting, and I think this is a very cool month overall for Marvel Snap. I think for me at least, like the last couple months have been pretty dry of stuff that I find super interesting, and I think all of the cards but Lady Galactus are like super interesting and super different, and I'm really excited for Snap, which also I think did this in December last year too, where it had like some cracked cards and also some different cards, which ended up being cracked. I think Annihilus and Blob were also the same month, I think, or something like that this time last year. So I think maybe the winter they're willing to be more experimental, but who knows? Super.
Besides
cool,
Celine
this
last
card.
December.
Well, Celine's a card that I love. So
The worst card in the game.
the worst card in the game. I don't know about that, but
Is this
Her
with
Weeple's
Celine? No,
good, though,
we're
for
going to talk about
spotlights.
Celine later this video. We'll get there.
all right. How about the spotlights?
So first,
The Dakens.
thanks to Roram, because this Daken isn't in the game, he had someone had to take a screenshot and like crop the video that they released. Yeah. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Tuck.
So like, I was about to be super pumped for this week, even though it was going to be 2 Series 4 cards, because it was Hitmonkey in the spotlights, and I was going to go crazy because I've been loving Hitmonkey. But then it was Daken, and then it's like we're supposed to be getting Daken in January in this season pass too, so it's kind of like a feels bad and kind of thing. Of course, data mines are subject to change. The Meek's pretty cool. I like the Ink Pulp Meek. Meek. But I think like realistically, if you guys are gonna spend any resources this week, spend tokens. Just don't open spotlights. I wouldn't open a spotlight for Daken. I wouldn't open a spotlight for Meek, even though like I like Meek. If you have Scorn, you're already doing stuff way better. But yeah.
Everything Tucker said, I think giving us Daken is a slap in the face. Card is terrible, like actively terrible. It's not like a kinda bad card, right? Like Strong Guy is significantly better with literally no investment. Like Daken is an absolutely atrocious card. It's probably the least useful season pass card ever.
Oof.
I can't think of anything that's less useful.
Daken
like,
has been in decks in his history,
but like every other season pass card has been good that I can think of.
Like, are we talking about presently or like Ghost Spider when she came out?
Sure. But like ever throughout the history of its lifespan, Ghost Spider has been great.
Yes, but she did get redesigned basically.
She got knocked down one cost. She didn't get redesigned.
I don't know. Cutting her.
Well, maybe do something to Daken. Make Daken a 3/6, and all of a sudden, maybe he's good.
He's the one card that didn't get a buff. He's like the only season pass card that has never gotten a buff after performing poorly. Such like Ghost Spider got a buff that month. Phoenix Force got a buff that month. Like,
Nimrod, like 2 months later.
Yep, Nimrod got value. Like Nimrod only got 1 extra power, and Nimrod just got better. Where Daken stayed the same. It's just like,
But my big question is, why is Doom with a bunch of discard synergy cards? Like, this is like, what is this saying to players? Like,
it's saying we're giving you 2 cards that don't get played in discard because we know you want Doom, and we're being selfish assholes because we don't have any type of PR problem, and we can just do what we want.
That's fair. All right, let's move on to the next card. Bruce Banner, the other card that's breaking Marvel Snap. Bruce over here is a 2/1 Series 5. Wow, okay, my cat just did something horrible.
Knocked over everything.
Everything. Oh man. Well, anyway,
it's on camera. Those for those who can't see it. Like,
I'll deal with that later. How many magic cards did she knock everywhere? We'll find out in a minute. When you end a turn with unspent energy, 25% chance to Hulk out where he becomes Hulk. Tucker, what do you think about Bruce?
So, like, in theory, my cards never die in Danger Room ever. Every single time I play the lottery there, and my cards never die in Danger Room, which this is the same percentage there. It's we play the odds anyways in Snap. Like, I think this card has potential. You get from a 2 to 1, you're potentially spending more than the energy it took to play out the card to be able to get that Hulk to work functionally. So, like, trying to keep that in mind, and maybe at that point it's a 3-1, maybe it's a 4-1, maybe it's a 5-1, and then maybe on turn 6 it turns into a 6-13 in that sense, because you had floated an additional 4 energy for the rest of the game. I feel like, of course, the ceiling it turning into Hulk is incredible, but you're just having to play the odds. I think it's okay, and I like the functionality wise. I like it's a new card, like Roy was talking about earlier. I think it's like a new kind of thing, which is cool. And yeah, Danger Room never destroys my cards, so this card, of course, never is going to turn into the Hulk, right? I think it's pretty cool functionally, and I like the dynamic of it.
In 3 weeks, no one's gonna play this fucking card. Like, it's gonna feel so great and so high rolly, but it's a 25% chance. Like, you have to see it on turn 2, and it's like a 60% chance if you skip an energy every turn. Skipping an energy every fucking turn seems like a really great way to lose a game, Marvel Snap. Just saying, like, if they give me 6 energy and I'm giving up 4 of that energy over the game has like 24 energy or whatever it is, right? And I'm giving up 4 of that to try and Hulk out. I mean, I guess, but you know what? If I'm giving up 4 energy, that means Banner cost me 6, which is what Hulk cost me. And like,
Glazer figured it out. Glazer figured it out.
I screwed up my whole curve to do that. Like, this card's disappearing. Like, it's gonna be so high rolling and frustrating. Everyone's gonna hate it. Everyone's gonna throw fits, and then it's just gonna quietly disappear. Everyone's like, "Hey, remember when we thought Bruce Banner was broken?" It's like, yeah, well, that was a couple weeks.
This card's not broken though. This should be a straight to Series 3 card to me. Like, this seems like a really cool card to have early in your collection, right? It can teach you some things about Marvel Snap, about what Glazer just said, like that this is secretly a 6 cost that you pay 2 up front and then are taxed for it for somewhere between 1 to 4 energy, right?
But even if, like, so the thing is, like, even if you like get it on the set 3rd turn, right?
Yes.
Like, A, now your opponent has retreated. You didn't know that was going to happen. There was no, like, upside. And B, like, you still built your deck in this fucked up way to save all this extra energy.
Well, I mean, like,
you just play High Evo.
I mean, theoretically, yeah, you're supposed to synchronize the High Evo. Hold on, Tuccrr, that was the perfect transition to the spotlight caches. Oh, look, he's there! He's there!
And so is Ravonna, which also allows you to do the extra energy thing.
Yeah!
And Ravonna also synergizes with Bruce, right? So this is like literally build your own Bruce Banner deck week. Good. What do you think, Tuccrr? What do you think about these?
If you don't have High Evo, I mean, it's a Series 5 card that's probably going to be perma Series 5 and does allow you to get some different, abilities for your cards and some different archetypes. I mean, High Evo maybe not be in the best spot as he's been, a year ago or a year and a half ago. But I think it's a good card to have in your collection. At some point, they're eventually going to add a buff, right? Just like they'll add better
this
card
is
acquisition. The buff. The buff is having Bruce Banner in here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're already not spending energy in many high evolutionary decks, so.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
so
good.
sad.
I mean, Ravonna. If you don't have Ravonna, yeah, it's a good week to get Ravonna. I don't know. It's just. I got my 2 Series 5 cards in the spotlight that I like, so I like that for opening. If you're missing, High Evo, you can open for this card. But this is another moment which I think Glazer says it best whenever he does like his spotlight videos and stuff. Is like, wait and see what happens in the meta. Wait and see what happens with the OTA this week if they do an OTA on Christmas week.
No, it's not. The only OTA this month is next week. There's no other OTA until
they always
January.
every let them have a vacation, friends.
Well, yes.
I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying that's the case. And also, but like, if you're ever going to like be like, maybe we should do a little bit something extra, this might be the year when people are mass exodusing your game.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. They're so like blasé about it. I'm like, what? Like, maybe be like, maybe we should do some extra stuff. Maybe we should like, but they're just nah. We're okay, thanks though.
But we get free Elsa.
I mean, That's in so many decks.
They just aren't afraid of pockets. That's the main thing.
So I think I don't know if this is a wait and see. If you're early Series 3, right? Like if you want Doom 2099 and you want this because like it doesn't take a lot to build these decks.
Yes.
All the cards that go in them are cheap. And like you have 2 cheap decks. Between 2099 and Evo, you have 2 decks that you can play up to like infinite without ever worrying about it while you target whatever other bullshit you want and open for other things. And like that's fine. Like that's a great place to be. I know that sounded negative, but like that's not a complaint.
No, it's not.
It just means that's fucking this week is useless to me, right? Like I've got better cards than Bruce Banner and friends. I'm not playing Bruce Banner. I don't play fucking Thena anymore. I'm not playing Bruce Banner. So like
Thena's just such a sweet card.
Thena's a great card and she's just not. Like the game is power creep and heavy. So like she's really good and the decks she's really good in are like beat up by like all the 4s they keep making. Well, I guess she's decent with the anti-venom, whatever. Neither here nor there. Just I don't know, like this is a fine week if you're very early in the game. If you're not very early in the game, odds are you have High Evo and Ravonna. Ravonna was released as a Series 4 card.
Mm-hmm.
And High Evo was the second most bought card ever, probably.
Probably behind arishem now.
Yeah,
behind arishem, yeah.
They're reworking arishem, right? Do you think they're gonna do something to arishem?
I feel like every time they're asked about it, they're like, no, the stats say otherwise. But then when they take down an entire post that has been berated, I hope.
Yeah, like they made a whole post about it. They got in a big fight with fucking Jeff about it, right? Yes. Like they're gonna clearly, like I don't know. It feels like it's time for them to do something. I don't really care. I don't love or hate arishem. I'm just curious.
I hate him, but like I get like as an earlier player, like it's so good. Or if you're just still trying to learn the game overall, even like later in the game, you're like, well, I don't have this card. I get this with arishem. I just don't like all the like I have to predict this, and this, and like.
I've got like a 10% win rate against arishem. That deck rolls me. Like unless I'm playing a hard counter, it's just I usually just laugh. Like it doesn't make me mad because like I don't know. I don't like when I lose because of things, right? But they're like I generated a fucking Hydra Bob and an Ultron. Like a fucking all right, man, you got me. Didn't see that numbers like just, all right. What are you gonna do?
This game. Let me calculate. If they have this card, maybe they have these 5 other cards.
Exactly. Like it's just fucking like sometimes I stay, sometimes I go. Like they're like I Loki'd on one. They probably don't have Eliath. Oh, they do have. They have Shang and Eliath. Well, fuck me, I guess. Next, like it's just whatever. Like I don't have it in me to get mad because it's so stupid, right? Like, it's just like all right, good for you, friend.
All right, this is wait until. Future viewers of Glazer's stream watch him salt off at arishem. That's a reason.
You can find me on stream literally laughing as I lose 8 cubes to arishem. I don't. It's nothing. It's like a nothing burger. You lose to it and you go, okay.
All right. Well, Rocket and Groot closing out the year. The New Year's Eve card. Series 5 6K tokens, a 3/3. You can move this once. After your opponent plays a card here, steal 1 power from it.
Another cool move card. I mean, I think it's cool, and I like the dynamic. It's 2 characters onto one. It'll be interesting to see how this works. I mean, like any card you can move at least once a game always has some sort of value, and in this case, you're also getting extra power on Groot. Rocket and Groot, it's technically like a 3/5 if they don't have Luke Cage, which is pretty good. It's kind of like not old Nocturne in a sense because Nocturne also changed location, but like stats wise, it's close to a 3/5. But they of course still have to play a card on there, and you can kind of like target it the way you want. I like it. I don't think it's anything crazy, but I like Surfer. Maybe you can do some Surfer stuff in it. But
very cool in Surfer.
So I don't think this limits to once. After you play a card here, steal 1 power from it. I think that happens anytime an opponent plays a card.
If it's anytime, then I love this card even more. Yeah. I like that's the thing I was talking about like with Dance too. It was like I don't understand, I guess, the entirety of the text. I love Dance too. Dance is my freaking boy. Shout out to Dance. I need to get him
on the podcast. Dance, if you're listening, message me. I'm gonna forget.
Oh my god.
But if it does work more than one time, I think the value of this card is even better because it means they're like, well, are they going to move this card? It's the same thing. In that sense, it literally is like Nocturne. Are they going to change this location? But in this sense, are they going to move this card? Am I going to lose that 1 power and this gets the extra power? Because if not, and you're just floating on the same lane, you're playing Jean Grey. Granted, it's Jean Grey, but they're playing Jean Grey. You're still in power from Jean Grey every time, and then you move it over. They try and do other stuff. That's one example, even though I'm probably suggesting you guys don't play Jean Grey. But it could be interesting.
I mean, Echo 1 lane, Cosmo, and then this, right? Like,
there you go.
Just be like, all right, where are you going to play, bud? You want to play that Iron Man on that Echo, or that Rocket seems real good now? It's just like, boom, thanks. It's just, like, there's a million cards that, like, tell your opponent where to play that aren't dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jean, right? Like,
yes.
like Jean does that, but so does White Widow. So does, Nebula, right? Like, these are, like, good cards tell me where my opponent should play their cards. And, like, if they don't want to play on a Nebula, I'll take +2 power on Nebula instead of +2 power on this. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, that sounds perfectly fine. This is going to be really, really, really strong. In most months, this would be the best card. I think it's like, I mean, it's probably better than Luna, but
here we go.
I don't think it has much of a chance of being better than the other 3 cards we've talked about so far. It's a really, really, really strong card. Marvel Snap has a weird problem where, like, there's a million good 1-drops, except Hydra Bob stands above them all. There's a million good 2-drops that are, like, all over the series 1 through 5 spectrum. There's a million good 5s and 4s, 5s, and 6s. 5s and 6s. But 3 cost and 4 cost is, like, all the good cards are high series.
Yes.
It's wild. Like, this plus Nocturne plus Gladiator plus Red Guardian. Yeah.
I mean, loosely, maybe.
Plus Copycat, plus, like, just
Sage.
all of them. Sage. All of the good cards. Like, you've got, like, Luke, and you've got Rogue, who's okay, I guess.
Cosmo.
And you've got, like, Cosmo. And you're just like,
Cosmo.
woo! Like, and then if your deck doesn't want Cosmo, you're just like, well, shit. I've got Luke at the 3 spot and, Juggernaut. But, like, you don't want to play Juggernaut on 3, so, like, it's a really weird thing where you just kind of have to pick, like, 2 or 3 of these 3-drops and get them and then shove them in decks until you get more stuff. 4 is the same way, but you can just not run 4s and be totally fine. Excuse me. Especially if you buy the season pack, because then you have Gwenpool and you got 2 of the 4s because they were season pass cards.
Yep.
You know what's not totally cool? This blob variant. Like, I don't understand what this blob variant is. Like, what's it from?
Isn't it Horseman of Salvation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what Horseman of Salvation are, but yes.
Okay, whatever the hell that is. So this Spotlight Cash is Rocket Raccoon, Blob, and Tuccrr and Glazer's favorite card, Selene.
Oh, Nate Gray.
What?
That's what Horseman of Salvation are. They were, like, X-Men mind controlled and made his own horseman.
Okay, sure.
I don't know. I Googled it.
No, I that was not at you, Aaron. That was just at dumb X-Men storylines. Like, there's so many of them.
Sometimes it's about time someone did. All right.
All right. This is a good Rivals one, I think, by the way. I think this is a good Rivals variant.
I don't like Rocket's face.
The Rivals variant looks awesome.
I don't know. Rocket looks a little too evil.
But the super rare is better than the Spotlight yet again.
It was last month too. Let them keep doing it. I could just blow off Spotlights. This only hurts Ken. Everyone else is fucking fine, right? Like, Super Tech God is somewhere.
I mean,
like,
this blob does suck.
Man.
I'm just gonna say, like, who cares about this blob? This blob is up there with the, like, post-apocalyptic one. It's just, like, absolute garbage.
So what's notable though is it is Series 5, and this is another 2 Series 5 week. There are very few this month.
Yes.
However, especially if they rework arishem in any way, shape, or form, what the fuck do you do with Blob? Like, Blob and Selene are utterly useless.
Yeah.
Man, coming from my girl Selene. This is a good Selene variant. I bet it pops when it gets upgraded too.
Yeah, I like her 80s hair.
Selene has the single worst base art of almost any card in the game. Up there with White Widow. Like, it's actually actively on, like, you can't look at it. Like, I bought the card. I opened for Selene that month because I love that card, and I literally I don't, like, buy variants straight up, but I was, like, literally, like, I cannot look at this base art. Like, I just can't have this card. Like, no.
Terrible base art. Just so you know, Arrow is a card that exists.
Oh my god, Selene's is so much.
Oh no, Arrow's in the weirdest position. You should look up base art.
No, I know what Arrow's looks like. Arrow's is weird. It's definitely a little too horny, but it's the Selene one, and Selene is a character in the comics who's like canonically, a little bit on the hornier side.
Oh, wait.
But that art is ugly.
We know what the worst base art is because Kidley-chan told us. It is Gore the God Butcher and his
that's pretty bad.
spider thong.
Spider Thong's crazy.
That's pretty bad. Also, White Widow. White Widow is also just actively terrible. That's another one I bought the variant of. Just Snap variant. I was like,
but I will say that Selene week you did open spotlights for has one of the best variants in the game with the Spotlight Black Knight with the lightning. So it was a justified opening week if you were to whiff on the Selene at first and get the Black Knight variant.
That's fair.
Also, we forgot about terrible card design, Luna Snow. Just throwing that out there. Fuck
all right. Let's close this up with the high voltage card of the month. Lasher, who Tuccrr thankfully reminded us is in, I guess, Venom 3.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Did Venom 3 come out yet?
Yes, it came out like 2 months ago, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Watch it on Amazon, I think, at this point.
Because people think it's Toxin in the hospital, but it's actually Lasher because of the coloring.
Again,
good to
really
know.
Showing the strength of the symbiote designs, right? That they could definitely be so easily confused in these films.
They're different colors.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, look.
I'm just so glad we're free of symbiotes. I thought
we're getting one.
We're getting one here.
We're
Lasher,
never free of symbiotes.
Who's a 2/2. Series 4, 3K tokens. Activate. Oh, there we go. I'm loving that there's another activate card. No, I mean that seriously here. Afflict an enemy card here with negative power equal to this card's power. Tuccrr?
So as an activate, that's 2 cost. I'm more on page with this here. I like that you can get this from just playing high voltage, which feels way less grindy than playing the diner did. And it actually was really fun because you can make some just super whack decks and just go, I have extra energy. Maybe I don't get the extra energy right now. And like people were turn 1 Wickening plus all the extra energy with high voltage, which was crazy. And I think this card is interesting. I think what's really cool is you can, buff this card up because it afflicts with the power that Lasher has currently, which is really interesting to think about. Maybe it's something you play later into the game. Maybe not like late. Like you have to play it, of course, by turn 5 to be able to get it. Unless you have magic, you can play it turn 6 or whatever. But I feel like it's going to be cool just to see the power go down. I want to see what the animation looks like on this card, but call me crazy, okay? But I Namora my Lasher, and my Lasher is a 2/7, and I afflict another card with -7 power. That's kind of a feels good moment for me, even though that is super freaking greedy. But I think it's a really good also alternate if you don't kind of get like a US agent or like a Man-Thing kind of thing, where you can, of course, it is a targeted card. It's still random targeting there. But I think this card has potential. It's just, your opponent's like, are they going to play it now? Or are they going to do it then? Like, do I play into this card here? Like, when is it going to happen? Is it a fight for priority or not? Kind of can make you think.
Yeah, this is going to be good, right? Like, there's almost no way this isn't good. You don't have to run it even in a strength buff deck, but strength buff decks are semi-real now, right? Like, I've got a deck with a Koye and Nakia in it. That's good.
Yes.
Like, even if nothing else happens, I'll take a fucking 2/4 that plays as a 2/8, right? Like if I can play this with Gwenpool, and like I don't have to play it with not Gwenpool, with Galacta. I don't have to play this with Galacta to be good, but like it's a 2/8 with Galacta. Like these are all perfectly fine things. Am I crazy about this card? No, it's not great, but it's good and it's fun and it's powerful. Like, what's really going to be annoying is the same thing that's always is a Marvel Snap, where you've got like 3 cards there, and you're like, just don't hit Iron Man, just don't hit Iron Man, just don't hit Iron Man, and then naturally it hits the Iron Man, and you're like, wah wah. But like that's such is life, right? Like that's one of the natural things in Marvel Snap, and like that's again
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Bruce Banner. That's the Bruce Banner. It's just like, oh, the RNG. Like it's the Like, I don't like Pokemon Pocket very much, but a lot of Marvel Snap players are like, there's coin flips. I'm like, sir, I don't know if you noticed this, but I flipped like 10 coins this game of Marvel Snap. It just didn't appear on the screen for me to swipe. Like, Lasher is going to be a coin flip, right? Like, there's going to be cards at hits where it's just like game winning, and there's going to be cards at hits where you're like, oh, that was like the nothing burger of nothing burgers. Like how many games are won and lost in the same way by like Red Guardian choosing Dante, or Danger Room going off, or the Banner is Hulk, or yada 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 yada, or like just the 50-50. You flip a coin about where you play that card on the last turn, right?
The
like,
Hydra Bob move.
The Hydra Bob. So many Hydra Bombs. This is why that's why a 4/8 Captain Marvel is so powerful, right? Like, because it's just like, I lost that 50-50. Higher for the faster, baby. Thanks, never mind.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I think Lasher's a good card. It's a fun card. Ugly as sin. Like one of the ugliest Marvel Snap cards ever.
You got no teeth.
Like so ugly, right? Like what the fuck?
I am so glad Glazer is on the.
It's the ugliest shade of green.
Symbiotes are ugly.
Weird. Like so, like some symbiotes are ugly, but like in a good way, right? Like I don't dislike Carnage's character design. But this is like, what if Carnage was just really fucking gross?
Booger Carnage.
Green Carnage. Booger Carnage.
Booger Carnage. Yeah.
Well, thankfully, there's no spotlight cast for this one. So,
if we're done with Lasher, you don't even want to talk about it.
I want to talk about it. It's a 2/4 bare minimum, right? So, like, it's a super cool card. Like, what is else to say? Like, buff him. He's a 2/4, strong, predictable. Of when you always get to choose when it happens, when it's advantageous for you. Because it's activated, not on reveal, it has way more buffing synergy. So, like, what else is there to say? Like, base 2/4 for this. I'm really glad this is a high voltage card because it's a powerful card, but it's also a super cool card, the best kind of cards in all card games. And the fact that it's very accessible just for playing a fun Marvel Snap mode.
I have one more take and then we can move on too.
Yeah.
It's so much better than King Eitri and so much less work.
Yes.
These two probably should have been flipped. Like, Lasher is going to be like, oh shit, I accidentally have Lasher. King Eitri was like a week of, I gotta do this shit again.
Yeah.
It's probably time to, like, either rework or retire Deadpool's Diner Friends.
The Diner sucks. Like, I thought it sucked before it was cool to think it sucked, so.
I was summer last time, and with all the free time in the world, Deadpool Diner did not seem that bad. Deadpool Diner seems much less acceptable.
Now you're in like testing stuff and everything.
Now it's lifetime. And plus, Metaphor Fantasia was calling me, and I'm like, great. I get to listen to Deadpool's shitty voice lines instead of playing an awesome game.
With much better voice lines. But anyway, let's talk about our... Every week, we have the same segment. Variants of the week. This week is Captain Marvel, who is back. I think Captain Marvel actually has some really great variants. I spent a lot of time when Glazer asked me thinking about this for the one I picked. But, all right, Glazer, you picked the hip, right? Which is over here on the left, right?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite hips in the game. I think it's phenomenal. Like, it's so good. It feels exactly like the character. It's really actiony. It looks amazing animated. This is one of the best hips in the game.
All right. I agree. It's a great hip. Tuccrr, you picked the middle one?
Yeah, it's honestly one of my favorite Peaches in the game. I think I really like the action shot. She's like, it feels like she just literally got through war. I mean, she's ripped up and her hair's all over the place. Like, she's like, yeah, I just destroyed a starship. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, this was my second choice. I picked the Hellfire Gala one. I think Carol's Hellfire design is like one of the stronger sort of I don't even know if she was in the Hellfire, like just random Hellfire designs that Marvel did because they knew it could sell variants. I think it captures Carol, also captures like what the Hellfire Club during Krakoa was. And yeah, it's just a really, really good variant and a really good design. And I've just been, Carol's just got so many great variants. It was hard to pick.
And she's meta again. Yay.
Always good. Love to see you doing that, Captain Marvel. All right. Tuccrr, thank you so much for being on the show. If our loyal listeners and loyal viewers wanted to tune in to your content, what would they find there and where could they find it?
I have some of the most, if not the most high energy streams, YouTube videos, posts on the internet, Marvel Snap category, and every single time you guys are hanging out with me, because you guys aren't just in chat, we're hanging out together. everyone is welcomed and you will feel welcome, not just by me, but from the community itself. Like we are all here for each other, whether you are a beginning player, whether you are a veteran player, we are here to help each other. Because we're all friends at the end of the day. We're all humans. And I think my biggest thing is at the end of the day, I want to have made at least one person smile. And because you don't know the impact that smile has on another person, whether it makes their day, month, week, year. It's just you want someone to feel special. And every time you're in a stream, I want you to feel special.
What you'll find in Tuccrr's stream is me. I'm there all the time. No, Tuccrr's stream is incredible. It's just so high energy and like entertaining and fun. There's genuine joy for Marvel Snap. This community can get very up its own ass. Yeah, I was going to say negative, but what I mean is up its own ass. So that's what I'm going to say. So, and that's never Tuccrr's stream. Like, there's always a place for everyone. There's always joy. There's care for the community. There's care for the game. It's like one of the best places in the game. There's a reason he's like, it's very hard to grow in the Marvel Snap category of Twitch. And God. Tuccrr has had more growth than anyone in that category, and he deserves it every minute because like it's just one of the best streams in the world. He's a star. He's amazing, and you should go follow him. And you should also come back on January 8th when he'll be back on this show.
Thank you.
Or I guess January 12th or whatever date that'll come live. It's complicated.
I appreciate you, King.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this brings us to my favorite segment of every episode. Glazer's clearing his throat here. I'm so excited. I have missed out of this for like 3 weeks, so I'm really, really excited to hear Glazer thank our patrons.
Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'm going to say thank you to Abigail Kiesel, Editor, Bernard, Regardless, David Tubin, Field Dirty Casual, Danton, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, Inkime, Frostman, Jane Everett, Thing Boger, Brian, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Caretaker Lee, Quarry, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Perforce, The Goat Seeker, Hallowed, Quid Pro Joe, Synaptis, This is Joe, Fat Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kane Legend of the Danger Zone, Rob Silver, The Bez of Black Jeep, Sexual Cheese, Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Time, Nyquist, King of Bros, Great Kazoo, Kevsey Hoda, Lunacris, Corbin, John Q, Jim McHugh, Clam, 8th Age, Colonel Forbin, Yistout, Models, Mod Supreme, Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan Martin, Jason B, The Fuzzy Knowledge Specialist, Woo, Matt H, DJ Mikey Hedging, Snowflex, Oculars, Mr. Greg Sterry, PG, Zodrex, The King of Canada, Demon Falcon, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Great Lormdez, The Pirate King Tuccrr, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. Roy, take us away.
All right. So if you would like to follow us on Twitter, our Twitter/X is @SnapJudgeCast. We are immensely grateful each and every week to be the official podcasting partner of Marvel Snap Zone. Our email is snapjudgmentspodcast@gmail.com. And of course, likely where you're listening to this right now is our YouTube channel @SnapJudgmentsPod on YouTube. And me saying that brings us to the end of another episode of Snap Judgments. Tuccrr, I am so glad to have you joining us and that you get to be in the long-timer club here with so many luminaries, starting with Bootman and all the way now to you joining us so often. And we're so happy to have you on the show regularly.
Yeah, thank you guys so much once again just for this opportunity. And I love being on the pod. You guys are freaking fantastic. You guys don't get enough credit, especially you, Roy. You don't get enough credit.
Oh, thank you, Tuccrr. I really appreciate that. That actually warms my heart. I didn't get to say this last week because I was visiting my father-in-law in Denver. But last Friday marks 10 years of which I have been friends with the one and only Aaron Glazer.
Wait. Do we know how we know that?
How we know that? Because we met at an event called Red Saturday.
I think because Facebook told me.
And Facebook told me. So we met that Thanksgiving weekend, Friday and Saturday of that week, for an event known as Red Saturday back in the day. Glazer, as I said to you on Facebook and other places, it has felt much longer in the best way. So I'm really grateful that I get to do this show with you most weeks. And it brings me a huge amount of joy, and I'm immensely grateful for it.
Lifelong friends, buddy.
All right.
Peace and love to everybody.
All right, friends. Until next week, stay safe, make good choices, and keep on snapping.
Woohoo.